Hello everyone. I just want to give you an update about the progress of my Mega Man engine. For those of you who have been following me since the beginning, no, the project is not dead. It was never dead. I just haven't had as much time to work on it lately. But I've been trying to find a little time here and there to make some progress and hopefully show you guys something worth releasing by the end of this year. The project has been in the works for going on 8 years now, and it's definitely nearing its end. At least I hope so. Some of you may be thinking right now that this video is rather coincidental to the release of Mega Maker, and I'm not going to lie to you, it absolutely is intentional that way, but I don't in any way mean to steal the thunder from Mega Maker. These two projects are quite different. So Mega Maker is very good at what it does, but I think it has a very different audience from this project. I would consider Mega Maker to be what I'd call shallow yet broad, and my engine is meant to be narrow and deep. And by broad and narrow, I mean in terms of the target audience. Mega Maker is for people who have played Mega Man and they're familiar with how the game works. They're not really programming types, they're not game design types. They just want to be able to throw something together, have an idea, make a stage in the course of an hour or so, and share it with people, play stages that other people have made. And for that purpose, it does very well. I've played it. I think it will be improved when they release new assets, more bosses, more enemies, tile sets, things like that. But so far, it is a very nice project, and I don't intend to disparage it in any way. My engine is meant for people who want to spend a little more time, learn a bit more about how the engine works, are more into game design, and want to make a full-fledged fan game in the likes of Unlimited or Super Fighting Robot, things like that, where you have completely customized assets, your own bosses, your own tiles, your own music, a plot, all the works. Obviously, this would take a lot more effort on the part of the user, which is why I'd say this project is not for the same audience as Mega Maker. But I did want to release this now because with the release of Mega Maker, there's a lot more hype, there's a lot more renewed interest in the Mega Man fan community, and hopefully this project can receive some of that and draw a little more attention for people who like the idea of Mega Maker and just thought it was missing something. So I haven't given any update on what I've been doing with the project lately. I haven't even released an update to my YouTube channel in a few years. So I thought today I would just show you what I've got in terms of the new editor, what it can do, what we still have left to go. This version that I'm going to show you right now is by no means intended to be a presentable version. It's just what I had so far. So there's going to be a lot of things you're going to see that are not ready for deployment. Some of these things may disappear in maybe even in the course of a few weeks. There's going to be a lot of things missing. It might appear that some features that you see here aren't actually implemented, but let's get right into it. Sorry for that long introduction. So here I'm just going to open up the project that I've been using as my demo and for development purposes. So here you've got the main editor screen. On the left you've got your little project tree. It's got all the stages that I've got in this project, and along with all of the entities that I have made so far. A lot of them, the names aren't actually correct. They're not what they're called in the official Mega Man canon because at the time I made them, I just didn't know what they were called. So, if I open up, let's say Crystal Man, it's not really Crystal Man stage, I just used some of his assets. This editor pane is divided into 3 sections. This is the layout section. This is where you add screens, you move them around, and you can resize them. Let's see if I can show you without the thing crashing right now. If I wanted to add a new screen, I just click this button. It will appear at the bottom. So it starts, it's full of these tiles because this is the first tile in the tile set. So I can resize it. I can just drag this and I can make this screen larger. I can make it smaller. And if I want to append it somewhere onto the game, all I have to do is drag it with this tool here. Drag it over here and it will snap when I let go, and now it's attached, and that is the join between the two screens. Now I need to add some tiles to it, so I go over to the tiling tab. Now I scroll down a little bit, and oh, you know what? You can actually zoom in here, so why don't we double our size here? Whoa. Might make it a little easier, or might make it more difficult, since this is a rather small screen we're working with. So if I want, I can black the whole thing out. I can take this brush, I could fill it with black. Go back to the brush. I don't know what I want to do. So here where we have, instead of having to paint with all the little bitty tiles over here, there are certain patterns in the tile set that are repeated, like these little platforms here, like these sort of glass cube things with the electrical arcs. You can select tiles you've already painted and turn them into a larger brush that you can reuse. So I can just click on this one, and now I can just start painting with these things. Whatever, you know what? I don't really want to waste too much time on making this pretty for the purposes of this demo, so I'll just start with that. Now, you want to be able to enter this screen, so what I'm going to do is erase the tiles over here, and actually I'm going to use this brush here as the background, and that, why don't we just do that? Technically not exact, but okay. So I'm going to zoom out again. Now the third tab in the editor pane is these entities. This will let you place various enemies and other objects into this stage. The ones you've already got available are over here. There is a way in the settings when you're creating entities to tell them not to appear in this menu here. So for example, bullets, other things like that, you don't need to show all up in here, little dust particles and such. You can just select any enemy you want to place. Let's say I want, say I just want another one of these guys, but I want him in this screen. This is getting a really ridiculous screen. So he's right there. The other things you can do with guys that have already been placed, I can grab this cursor, I can hover on him, I can right click, I can delete him if I want, or I can flip him around so he faces the other way. I can also specify that how he respawns and how he begins on the stage. So this isn't really particularly helpful for this guy, but the respawn rule, this is helpful for things like the E-Tank that you see over here. This has a respawn rule of stage. So the various rules are off-screen, like an enemy, as soon as you go out of sight, they'll come back. It can be annoying, but that's how they work. Death, when you die, it comes back. Stage, so like E-Tanks, you collect them. They don't come back until you leave the stage and come back in, or never. That would be things like letter pickups for getting beat. Hey, it's me from like 10 minutes in the future. I just realized I never actually showed you the results of what we did on Crystal Man stage here. So before we do that, I'm just going to go back into tiling, and why don't I just use the fill tool on this section. You can fill with these larger brushes, and that should, does that work, please? I guess it does not. My apologies. See, lots of things to work on, so I'll just do this. And it fills. That was the wrong one. Let's try this one. Okay, you're supposed to be able to fill with these brushes, but it didn't work. I'll make a note of it. Okay, now I can go back, and here I'll just grab this test from location tool and drop myself probably right on top of an enemy, or more like on top of an E-Tank. Come on, load. There we go. What's with that guy? Anyway, I can drop down here now, and it's a room. Goody. It worked. Now, what if we wanted to start a new stage? We would need some new tiles. I have this little tile set test thing over here. I can go over here and edit some tiles. Now, this tile set editor, let's see if I'm tempting fate when I try to import something, if I'm going to crash the whole thing. This tile set importer lets you select, if you say import images, it'll pop up this box, and I'm not going to do it now, but you can select an image from your computer with a tile sheet. It'll come over here, and the features here are extract. This will automatically chop up all of the little tiles that you see here into these tiles here. Compact sheet, that will essentially take the tiles that are here and rearrange. It'll regenerate the sheet image that's on your computer and just make it a little more compact, as close to square as possible. So if we go back, now I have all the tiles here. Now what I can do here is set their properties. So backgrounds will not be blocking. These types of foreground, I can set that they are blocking, and I can edit and add these properties. These are not fixed. A new stage will come with certain properties by default, things commonly used like blocking foreground tiles, spikes for death, ladders, water, but you can add new ones if you want weird properties to do things like the glue in Mega Man Unlimited, the conveyor belts, rain, things that like wind that pushes you sideways. So that would be an example, sort of like a conveyor belt, but not blocking, it's in the background. So if I edit these, there's a nice little handy chart. You can change the name of the properties, you can set whether it's blocking, lethal, or climbable, and you can change the various forces on it. So my GIFs / GIFs, however you care to pronounce that, are not appearing properly right now. Again, this is not intended to be in a presentable format, but forces that can control push like conveyor belts. This resist is so well, there's an explanation here I'm not going to read. You got quicksand, your ice. This resist is sort of like you slide when you stop moving, but this one here, the ice, is you have trouble accelerating from a stop. So then, in addition to the stage editing, if we go back to edit the stage, there's not even an icon there yet. This is about all we've got here. I'm working right now on this entity section. So this is where you create and edit your entities. If I go someplace like, who knows? Let's pick something simple. Well, Crystal Man's not simple, but he doesn't have a whole lot going on. So this is woefully incomplete right now. This is what I'm working on now. This is the section of the editor I hope to have complete by next release. Hopefully in the next 6 months or so. So here you change his name. Max alive, it just defaults to 50. When there's too many on screen of whatever it is, they will fail to spawn. You can set their default starting sprite when they are placed. Add and edit sprites here. This sprite editor, if I add one, this is where you have the sprite sheet. I can say snap to various sizes. He's got the right width and height, but no, he does not have the right height in this. I have to specify that I want this a little bit bigger. And we would be able to select that. Spacing here is if your sprite sheet has a little gaps in between each one, you can actually change it. And so if I do that now, it'll jump a little bit more. That's obviously not correct, but you get the idea. Then you can adjust their movement, their hitboxes. Can't do that yet. This is still in progress. But generally, I think as far as the engine goes, just about all the features that I want are there. My goal with the project is everything that was in the classic series will be here. So, for example, Yoku blocks, they're already implemented in the engine, just not in the editor yet, so I don't have any to demo right now, but they were added. We have parallax backgrounds. We got auto scrolling stages, which, I mean, nobody really likes those, but you can do it if you want. You can check out some of my older YouTube videos on my channel to see when those things were implemented and demoed. And whenever you want, you can go to a stage and you can test right from here. If you have told it where your engine application is on your machine, you can just go to this menu. You can say test the whole project, test the current stage that you have selected here, or test from a particular location. So this is really helpful for, I think you have to be on this layout section for this to work. But let's say, for example, I go over to, what's another good stage I can use? I have this Chunk of Metal Man stage, but let's say if I want to test from a particular location, it automatically gives me this little Mega Man tool. I can start them right over here. So if I just click here, it'll pop open the engine, and there I am, right in the location that I specified, and I can just go off from right here. Obviously not very interesting. If I go over to my demo stage, and say he's a little bit off positioning right there. So let's see. Here I can select this start position, move him down a little bit. And I go over to test and I can just say current stage and it will open the stage that I have selected, the demo stage right here. Come on. There we go. Right here, and I can just go through this stage. So that gives you a basic idea. This is where we are right now. There are versions available on the website. I'll leave a link in the description, if I remember, to the current releases that I've got. They're less full-featured in the editor than what you've seen here because I've been working on it since then. I think that was about in October that I last made a release, I believe. Thanks for sticking with me this long. I've been kind of rambling. But before I go, I do want to make a kind of plea. For the most part, all of this engine has been developed by me. Over the years, really only 2 or 3 people have offered any substantial help. Right now, you could say that the team is 2. I have one other guy who I've never met approached me online, and he's offered to help a little bit. But other than that, I've been coding this alone. I'd really love it if people would help out. This is an open source project. It's available on GitHub, and I will leave a link to that in the description as well. If you want to become involved, you can email me. I'll perhaps leave my email address in the description also. You can just go check out the code. If you want, you can start contributing right away, although, you know, if you don't contact me first, you might not know what you should be doing. I do have a Trello board. I will make that publicly read-only available, and then anyone who wants to contribute can look at that, see what they want to do. But these kinds of things, to really move along, do require some manpower, so I'd appreciate any that I can get. I know there are some people who have been really excited about this project, and I hope that continues, and I hope to get a little more interest going. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking out the little demo. I'm going to keep working on this whenever I have some time. Life has gotten in the way. I have a full-time job plus another sort of independent contract work type thing going on. I will try to keep posting more regular updates than I have been. It's been way too long, and I really would like to see this see the light of day, or a widespread release. Thanks for sticking with my rambling, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.